it's time for another Kuroko no Basuke chapter review. Today, we're going to be talking about the joyous and not at all emotional or frustrating quarter 216. This also might just honestly be feelings. This is going to be feelings. It's going to be a lot of feelings. Warning, this review is going to have all sorts of them spoils that people tend to not like, myself included. If you've not read up to chapter 216 of the manga or are an anime-only viewer, you should not watch this if you do not want to be spoiled, because it's talking about stuff that is way ahead of the anime. So, I love you, but don't get mad at me if you get spoiled. As Teiko warms up for their match against Kamizaki, Kisei comments that Aomine seems particularly fired up, and Aomine explains that it's because he's excited to be facing such a tough rival, plus Kuroko told him off for being such a rude face. At the same time, Midorima tells Murasakibara that Aomine's horoscope is the worst for the day. And I know that this is a summary and not the actual review of this chapter yet, but can I say right here and now that I don't care how often Owaasa is used as a form of foreshadowing, it never ceases to instill that dread that it's going for. Shige, whose team is playing on a different court at the same time, remembers his promise to Kuroko and mentally redeclares that they're for sure gonna win. However, it probably won't be an easy battle if these ominous, scary twins that suddenly have appeared have anything to say about it. Cut back to Teiko's match, and Aomine's opponents have been completely defeated, both in spirits and in points, before the final buzzer has even gone off. Aomine finally realizes that there really is nobody else who can compete with him, and any semblance of the joyful basketball lover from before completely vanishes. The entire team immediately recognizes the shift in Aomine's demeanor, but none is more effective than Kuroko, whose mood isn't lifted any when Shige calls him in tears to apologize for losing. With Aomine in uncaring yet unbeatable mode, Teiko easily advances to finals, where they'll be facing off against the twins that gave Shige and his team their loss. So, I might have gotten one or two things wrong in my last chapter review, because Shige is not on Kamizaki's team, only Inoue blah blah blah, and my premonition about Shige being Rakuzan's fifth man is probably wrong, considering I forgot that Kuroko mentions that Shige stops playing basketball after middle school. So, whoops. With that being said, because I got so many things wrong, I'm going to take excessive pride in the fact that I correctly called that Inoue's defeat would be the catalyst for Aomine as the only one who can beat me is me line. Nailed it! Speaking of Aomine, this review is probably going to be mostly about him, considering how pivotal this chapter was in his character development. The title of this chapter is simply Sorry, which is incredibly appropriate, not just because of the numerous times the word is used and in the many different ways it's used, but because I am taking it as a personal apology from Fujimaki for breaking my heart like 5 different times in 20 pages. Yeah, you better apologize, you bum munch. But in all seriousness, Fujimaki crafted Aomine's tragic character arc beautifully, and the climax of his love for basketball turning into hate plays out perfectly. Seeing this final shift, point of no return for Aomine, as the sport he once loved and made him feel so alive is suddenly bringing him nothing but emptiness, is so incredibly sad and heart-wrenching. As somebody who had a severe dislike for Aomine when he was first introduced, watching his backstory play out, even though I knew it was gonna happen, made me so much more sympathetic to his plight. That look on his face after he realizes his rival isn't even gonna bother trying is one of the most heartbreaking panels I've seen in a manga in a really long time. And then we had the denied fist bump between him and Kuroko, and then Kuroko had feelings and knew what was going wrong. Of course, Aomine isn't the only one who brought all sorts of feelings out in me. The expressions on Kuroko's face perfectly describe the amount of pain and shock he himself was in this chapter. Not only did that horrible denied fist bump happen, but then pretty baby Shige's phone call happened like immediately after. Not much else to say on that, except I yelled no like 15 times on my computer, because that is not how anything was supposed to happen. So, I was very upset. I might still be very upset. I will say though that despite the chapter feeling very fast-paced, it didn't feel overdone. And the art looked especially fantastic this week. I think it's because there was so much emotion to show, and the facial expressions showed it very, very well. In chapter 217, Teiko will be facing off against those troublesome twins who I don't like. And if one of them becomes Rakuzan's 5th member, I'm gonna be so pissed. They better not. They're buttheads. I know that this chapter review really wasn't that much of a review and mostly just my feelings, but that kind of is what happens when there's a really good chapter of Kuroko and Basuke, because I feel a lot of things and don't know how to put them into incoherent sentences. This week ended up being very busy, so I didn't have time to do chapter 217 review. However, I'm just gonna clump that in with 218 and do that next week. I have some friends coming in from out of town this weekend, so I'll be vlogging that, but I won't have any time to do much work otherwise. English. If you guys would like to check me out on any other sort of social media site, I have a Crunchyroll, a My Anime List, a Tumblr, a Twitter, and a Facebook page. The links are all down below. Golly jeez! I'm blaming the heat. It's like 85 degrees in my house right now. I'm blaming that on my brain farts. Even though I know it's just because my brain farts a lot. Yes, those links are all in the description down below. If you would like a Crunchyroll Premium membership, you can try it free for I think it's 2 weeks. There's a link down below for you to click on that. Thank you so much for watching and listening to me ramble. I really appreciate that you guys let me do this. I hope you guys are having a fantastic day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye!